Who's that fashion-forward guy looking at the staff pics? I love his. Oh my God, Matt!
It's me.
What on earth are you wearing? It's gorgeous.
It's this new custom-made Scarecrow hoodie.
Oh my God, and how can people get their hands on this?
Well, right now you can't because we're out of them.
Oh.
But we are in the
Limited.
process of getting more of them in. A nice gentleman custom made these for us. They are hand cut. They're not screen printed.
Yeah.
And so we are selling. We sold out already. Between the last episode and this one, we sold out of all of them. We didn't even have them last time.
Everyone wants a zip up. Everyone requests a zip up. It's like American Apparel style vibes, you know?
It's nice. It's very comfy. The material is thin and comfortable. They're $50. We will be getting more in soon. But they take a while to make.
Yeah, because they're made with care.
Yeah.
From a local artisan.
Yeah. Anyway, episode 89.
89. 89. That's almost 90, which is in turn almost 100. If you guys have any suggestions for how we should celebrate our centennial, that's 100, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then let us know, viva@scarecrow.com. I think we should do something crazy. We should have a cool episode, and then maybe we should figure out how to do some sort of either live or streaming event.
What's the 100th anniversary gift? You know what I mean? Like, what's the,
You
like,
brought
it's
this
a
up last
stone or
time.
wood or whatever? I don't know.
Diamonds, probably. In any case, that's coming up, but it is episode 89. Matt has
I've officially been here longer than Kev.
He's officially been here one episode longer than Kevin Clark.
Do you remember how, like, after a couple of years after Jon Stewart took over The Daily Show, like, really nobody ever thought about Craig Kilborn ever again?
I literally still don't even really know who Craig Kilborn is.
Exactly.
But don't say that, though. Everyone remember Kevin, and if you don't know who we're talking about, go back and watch episodes 1 through whatever math
44.
is. Yeah, and enjoy the growth.
Enjoy the groove.
And the old recommendations.
Yeah.
And the new, because we got some good ones for you today. Yeah. What are, besides that awesome sweatshirt that people will soon be able to get their hands on, do we have any other news? We have some RIP sections up. Hackman, we talked about him last time.
Michelle Trachtenberg, Peter Jason.
Yeah, some good stuff. We still have our best of 2024. So this corner's full of good stuff.
Stay tuned for some updates to Scarecrow Video's membership program. If you are a Scarecrow member, there will be some changes. Good ones, positive ones.
Yes.
You'll be getting cooler stuff.
Yes.
But we have not announced that as of yet. Probably by the time this episode airs, you'll be able to look on the website and check that out.
Yeah, so check that out. And we're just like hurtling towards the future.
Yes.
Right?
All of us are.
We are just
at full breakneck speed.
Yeah.
Like a comet about to shred itself in our atmosphere.
See the moon tonight?
Not yet. I was on the bus.
It's huge.
It's huge.
And I heard it's going to be a blood moon. I don't know if that actually means like it will look red.
I don't know.
There's only one way to find out.
Stay up late. Look at the moon.
Stay up late. Look at the moon. Let's get into episode 89. Oh my God, was that a Rapid Rex intro?
That was beautiful.
And we didn't even know. And the reason why we're doing Rapid Rex is because it's our 89th episode. And I, believe it or not, was born in 1989. And so I decided to do 10 Rapid Recs of movies that I love from 1989. And then Matt was like, fuck it, I'll do some too. And so now we have a bonus Rapid Rec round for you guys. And
there is still one $50 match for a Rapid Recs. If you donate $100 and submit your 10 categories for Rapid Recs, that will still be matched. An extra $50.
Yeah.
One of those is remaining.
Maybe you want to do your birth year.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to do, I don't know, something else, whatever. We'll figure it out and give you some good recommendations.
Yeah.
For this one, though, I want to put at the top that I love like When Harry Met Sally and like Teen Witch, but I didn't include like really, really big ones. It kind of was like, here's some 1989ers to check out, you know?
My list will be less esoteric because I came up with it like on the fly. I didn't really get the chance to do any research.
And that's fine.
There's good picks on there.
That's just more picks. So, let us begin.
Movies from 1989.
Number 1, Celia from 1989. Number 2, Sweetie from 1989. Number 3, Things from 1989. Number 4, Beyond the Door 3. You don't have to watch the first two. from 1989. Number 5, The Unbelievable Truth, 1989. 6, Speaking Parts. It's from 1989. Number 7, I have 1989's Relentless. And 8, I also have 1989's Sundown, The Vampire in Retreat, which I do believe I talked about on the show before. Number 9, Intruder from 1989. And number 10, which is a real fun one, 1989's Blind Fury.
Rutger Hauer.
You should do like the Casey Kasem coming in at number 10, 1989's Blind Fury. This one goes out to Ted in Minnesota.
Oh, Ted in Minnesota would love Blind Fury.
Okay, 1989's Dead Calm.
Ooh.
1989's The Killer, the John Woo masterpiece. Be remiss if I did not include 1989's Roadhouse. 1989's Tetsuo the Iron Man.
Ooh.
The second of only two Timothy Dalton James Bond movies, 1989's License to Kill. Brian De Palma's Vietnam War masterpiece, 1989's Casualties of War. Ridley Scott's Fish Out of Water Cop in Japan movie Black Rain, also from 1989.
Almost made my list.
Also from 1989, Shoei Imamura's Hiroshima drama Black Rain. 2 Black Rains.
2 Black Rains.
Same year, 1989.
1989?
Yeah.
Okay.
1989's The Cook, the Thief, His Wife and Her Lover.
Oh, I need to get on
We're going to
that.
bring that up every episode until you fucking
I
see it.
know, I don't know.
That was
I'm
exactly
gonna love
why I
it.
included it on the list.
I'm gonna love it.
And my favorite killer Santa Claus movie, 1989's Deadly Games, aka Dial Code Santa Claus.
So good.
And I just want to add 2 more runners-up that have to
Oh,
be mentioned,
please.
even though everyone has seen them and they don't really need any more, oomph, any more push.
Yes.
But I have to be mentioned my 2 favorite films of 1989, The Abyss and Do the Right Thing.
And I do believe was born on the 4th of July, 1989.
Yes.
That's one of my runners-up, and When Harry Met Sally is my other 1989. So why don't you guys do yourself a favor and pop in a 1989 Rapid Rex and let us know what you think. And here's to our 89th episode.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh my God. Is it time for my favorite segment?
It is.
And that segment is Raunch versus...
Rom.
Hello, guys. Raunch versus Rom. We had a tough battle last time.
A humdinger.
If you remember, the Raunch was losing it with Tom Cruise
Thomas Maypother.
in his first role, or one of his first roles, versus
Speechless.
Speechless. And it was tough. You guys voted. You guys turned out and voted. And it was 5 votes for losing it and 5 votes for Speechless. So we had to call in a tiebreaker. We talked about him earlier. His name's Kevin Clark. And he says, the winner is losing it.
You screwed me.
By one.
I treated you like a son. You fucking stabbed me in the heart.
Raunch is the winner. And who knows if it'll hold on to that championship belt, because I don't know how much I believe in my next fighter, but I'm going to do my best to represent him. I love how I keep mixing the metaphors of this is like a boxing ring, but it's also we are in court. And I keep doing that back and forth. And that's just what Raunch versus Rom is all about.
Tiebreaker from a dead man.
Here is my champion, my hopeful champion, MALIBU BEACH. MALIBU BEACH from 1978.
Mine is Chances Are from 1989,
Ooh, good year.
coincidentally.
Okay, you guys know the rules, and if you don't, let me refresh your memory. We have 2 minutes on the clock provided by Rich to tell you about our movies and try to let you know what the good we found in them was. And then we each have a final closing argument, closing statement, and then you guys vote in the comments below to see who the winner is. Okay, easy enough.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, my pick was MALIBU BEACH from 1978, directed by Robert Rosenthal. I don't think he did much else of anything, and I couldn't figure it out anyways. It's like an American Graffiti-esque movie, but set on Malibu Beach, and everyone loves Malibu Beach, and there's songs sung in the movie about how cool it is to hang out on Malibu Beach, and honestly, this movie made me want to just like hang out on the beach. It looks really fun. But we meet like a new lifeguard girl, and she wears a bikini to her lifeguard position, even though you're not supposed to. And then we meet this like smart girl who wants to hook up with guys, and she's reading Einstein's theory of relativity on the beach. So bizarre. And we meet this horny girl who like is in love with this one guy, and she drives around a car with a bumper sticker that says "Cure Virginity," which I thought was kind of funny. Yeah, this basically is like a 2-day hangout movie. Everyone just graduated high school, and they're all just going to Malibu Beach to like get stoned and like take their tops off and skinny dip in the ocean. And there's like this biker guy who hooks up with the teacher on the last day of school, and he's weird. He keeps showing up places and like breaking up makeouts and stuff, and everyone's like, who's this biker guy? Like, leave us alone. There's these two cops, and this new cop is like, he keeps getting distracted by like seeing his like younger peers that he used to go to school with on the beach, and they keep offering him joints, so he keeps ending up getting stoned and not doing his job. They all hang out at an abandoned amusement park, which is a pretty cool set piece, but it wasn't very raunchy. There was a lot of lovemaking scenes that lasted really long, but there was also, in turn, a lot of bare breasts and a lot of goals of hooking up, you know, before the summer ends at Malibu Beach and like horny teens. So in that way, it was raunchy.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, 1989's Chances Are, the follow-up from director Emile Ardolino, whose previous film was Dirty Dancing. In this movie starts 20 years ago when it was made in 89, so it starts in the 60s, and Sybil Shepherd gets married to the love of her life, Christopher McDonald, Shooter McGavin himself, and they have he's a high-powered attorney, you know, and she's like a designer and museum curator and all this stuff, and you know, they're gonna have this beautiful life together, but very shortly after she reveals that she's pregnant, he is struck and killed by a car. And he goes to heaven, and in heaven, he's immediately like, I gotta get back, you know, my wife's pregnant, I gotta get back to her. And he kind of like bullies the people in heaven to send him back to earth, like cut the line. Yeah, well, it's Tom Hanks' wife, Rita Wilson. Anyway, they accidentally forget to give him the injection that makes him forget his past lives. So he comes back in the present day, and he's reincarnated as Robert Downey Jr., a ne'er-do-well aspiring journalist at Yale, where he meets Mary Stuart Masterson, and sort of, it turns out that Mary Stuart Masterson is Sybil Shepherd's daughter, and therefore his daughter. But he doesn't know that yet. When he runs into her again back in Washington, D.C., trying to get a job at the Washington Post, and ends up going back home with Mary Stuart Masterson, he realizes his past life. Meanwhile, and that he's in love with Sybil Shepherd. Meanwhile, Sybil Shepherd's best friend from back in the day, Ryan O'Neal, has been in love with her for the past 2 decades. It's unrequited. And so now there's this love quadrangle. Mary Stuart Masterson wants to hook up with Robert Downey Jr., who wants to hook up with Sybil Shepherd, and Ryan O'Neal wants to hook up with Sybil Shepherd too. It's all this big, fancy reincarnation screwball comedy, but with this very serious and very romantic tone to it. It was a very sweet movie, but all of the sort of confusing sort of sexual quadrangle was very bizarre.
All right, now is the time for our closing statements. And this could make or break the entire fight / trial. My closing statement for 1978's Malibu Beach is that throughout this movie, we are shown clips of a sort of shepherd cattle dog on the beach who has been trained, maybe has been trained, we never see his owner, to steal the bikini tops off of girls sunbathing. And at the very end, this is throughout the entire movie, sometimes there'll just be a clip of him sneaking up in the sand and grabbing a bikini top. And then at the end of the movie, we see that he has a whole pile of them around the corner.
Oh, Fido.
So crazy. So if that doesn't make you want to vote for Malibu Beach, honestly, nothing will. So
Basically a dog movie.
I mean, look at him on the cover. It's so sweet. All right, what do you got?
Chances are, okay, so my closing argument for this one is, do you remember the movie Birth by Jonathan Glazer?
So good.
Where it's really good.
Yeah.
It's my favorite Jonathan Glazer movie. And it's the one where Nicole Kidman is accosted by a little boy who claims to be
strange
her
little boy.
reincarnated dead husband. And so this movie is like the nice version of that, which is like really horrifying and disturbing.
Yeah.
But it also does have all of the weird, like, rich people class dynamics and like slobs versus snobs aspect of it too. So it was like, there should be a double feature of these two movies. Just watch them back to back.
Yeesh.
Chances are, and Birth. Very weird.
Damn. So vote below if you are going to vote for Malibu Beach, The Raunch, or
chances are, this movie.
Chances
and
are,
don't
The
let
Rom.
Kevin tell you what to vote for, because that guy is a
But
snake.
don't let it be a
He's
tie.
a snake.
Don't let it be a tie. If you see that it's tied up and
Yeah.
it's been a couple weeks, throw a vote in there. Also, I want to shout out someone on YouTube who said after watching both, he like voted after watching both of our last
We
Raunch
appreciate
versus
that.
Rom, and you're putting in the work. We think you guys are just gonna listen to our pitch and take it at our word.
Yeah.
But when you go and watch the movies and then listen to our pitch, that's like coming prepared.
Especially when the pitch
trial.
is like maybe unenthusiastic because we didn't enjoy the movie so much. You
Yeah.
know? That's we appreciate that extra effort. The juice.
Appreciate it. We appreciate the juice. So until next time, that was Raunch versus
Rom.
We are going to get into it, and my first pick for the evening is a movie that's unstreamable completely. Ooh. That's called Girl Most Likely To. I've heard of this movie for a long time. I don't know why. Maybe because I like Stockard Channing a lot. But it's her first leading role. It's from 1973, directed by Lee Phillips, and it's written by Joan Rivers.
Oh.
It was Joan Rivers' first writing credit for a film. It came out as an ABC Movie of the Week made for a TV movie. So it's like 75 minutes long. Basically, Stockard Channing plays a girl named Miriam.
He got me a tutor.
Oh, yeah? Who?
What do you got? Miriam Knight. You got it. Miriam Knight, she's a dog.
Oh, gotta be with her all the time. Man, I would rather be with
Who's ugly.
I was a beautiful person who'd been kidnapped by an ugly body.
And she wears a bunch of prosthetics in this movie to make her just super ugly. The guy who did the prosthetics is Phil Rhodes, who did Brando's Godfather makeup.
Oh, wow.
Which is interesting. It starts off with her, and she narrates throughout the movie, and she's just like, my name's Miriam. Everyone always thinks I'm ugly, blah, blah, blah. Like, no one pays attention to me.
And I was probably the only girl who, no matter where I went, never had to worry about being mugged.
She's also really funny and smart, but her whole thing is she really wants to find a boyfriend.
I was also very lonely. I even changed colleges. 5 of them in 3 years.
And taken all sorts of different majors just to try to find either friends or a boyfriend. So she's studied to be a doctor. She's studied police procedurals. She's studied all these different random things just in hopes to find someone who she can really connect with. But no one can see past how homely she looks.
No.
At one point, she goes to this new college, and her roommate finds out that she is allergic to roses.
Relax, there's plenty more where these came from. The guy who gave them to me is an undertaker.
Miriam tries out for the school play or some sort of drama production, and she gets the part, and her roommate is so jealous that she kind of rigs this almost Carrie-esque thing where she opens this thing on opening night and it's full of roses, and she sneezes and she humiliates herself. She runs out into the street. But the accident was so bad that she has to get complete facial reconstructive surgery. And when she comes out of being put under, she is gorgeous Stockard Channing. And she's hot now. And guess what she's gonna do? She's gonna get revenge on all the bullies by literally murdering them.
Cool.
It's super funny. She wears disguises and goes back to every character that we saw being mean to her and then kills them in unique ways, featuring skills she's learned from majoring in different things throughout her college career. She goes back to her old roommate and pretends to be a talent scout, and her old roommate's like, sure, I can do a bunch of backflips. I'm like a cheerleader. And she opens this window at the end of the hallway.
Thanks for the roses!
It's super campy. It's really funny. You can tell the Joan Rivers wit and writing of it all, and then paired with Stockard Channing's kind of like, you know, like her whole like deal. It's a perfect match. Oh, there's a cop that's on her tail because he's like, why are all these people dying who have to do with this Miriam girl? That cop is Ed Asner.
You're what they produced.
This is a really fun one. You'll have to rent it from us or get a physical copy yourself, but that's the best thing about it. It's a lot of fun, and I definitely suggest you check it out. The girl most likely to.
I was engaged for a while to an ophthalmologist. But while I was engaged to him, his wife became pregnant again. So I figured he wasn't sincere.
My first pick is another Radiance release.
You love them.
I love those Radiance people.
It's a Radiance
I
boy.
swear to God, they're not paying me. I wish they would. Trying to get sponsors. 1988's The Cat. So this is also not the Hong Kong movie, The Cat. This is the German movie, The Cat.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I first looked at it.
So this is directed by a guy named Dominic Graf, and I guess was kind of a big hit in Germany at the time. It has never been released in the United States on home video, or in fact anywhere, I think, except for like VHS in Germany. And I had never seen it before. It's about a bank heist. It starts with a couple having sex, and it turns out that the guy is the mastermind of this bank heist, and the woman is the wife of the bank manager.
2 Stunden ist da unten Krieg.
And then these two guys bust into the bank and, you know, take everybody hostage. But what the cops don't know is that the mastermind is watching the whole thing. He's tapped into the police communications and stuff.
Ja, das haben wir gemerkt. Offensichtlich haben die Täter die Telefone jetzt auf einen zusammengeschaltet.
Der Typ, der kann eure Nummer nicht finden.
Something that's not really novel now, but at the time would have seemed pretty interesting. You know, pretty new and different. And he's basically manipulating all of the various forces. Like, one of the bank robbers knows that this is happening. The other one is sort of a patsy, and he doesn't know what's going on.
Warum hast du das nicht vorher gesagt?
Meanwhile, the bank manager's wife has her own complete agenda. So there's all this stuff going on. And it's also really action-packed. There's a bunch of shootouts. There's like a gas attack in the bank, all this stuff. And it has a really terrific sort of final moment where two of the characters are sort of confronting each other at the last minute before like the final reveal. It's really, really cool. I had like no expectations about what this was going to be, and it sort of starts out feeling like it's going to be really generic, but it's so tightly structured. There's so much shouting because it's very German that it ends up feeling like really overheated and like exciting. It's a pretty cool movie. I'm surprised that it's taken so long for something like this to come out.
Surface, yeah.
Yeah, you know, it seems like the kind of thing that, you know, would have been popular in the indie scene or the art house scene in America at the time.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty straightforward crime picture.
Yeah,
it's not doing
Radiance,
anything too crazy.
Their packaging and like their booklet and everything in here is so nice.
Yeah. It's really good.
Dive in.
This was a cool movie and unstreamable. So,
Look at us.
you know, check out this another great title from Radiance Films.
Check it out.
The Cat.
Ich weiß gerne, was du hast, Mensch. Habt ihr alle die besprochen?
My next movie is called The Reflecting Skin.
Oh, a classic. I saw you were watching this on your Instagram.
So good. This has been on my watch list for way too long. I don't know why it's just sat there, but the other day I was like, you know what? Let's get you in front of my eyeballs.
I mean, back in the day,
Depressed.
back in the day when I was like in college and stuff, this was like a big cult
It's so
cult hit.
good.
And like when I first started working at Scarecrow, it was one of those movies that people would come in here specifically to get because it was very hard to see.
Yeah,
We all
so
watched Passion of Dark Moonly.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I believe I did talk about Passion of Darkly Noon on the show. I don't remember what episode, but he did that. And then did he do a couple other things?
couple
Those
other
are
movies.
two big ones.
And a lot of stuff. He's mostly.
He's a writer too, like he has a book or something. Anyways, yeah, that's Philip Ridley we're talking about. This is from 1990, again, almost 1989. And this is a very dark, almost fairy tale-esque coming of age movie. And I find that I'm really drawn to those kind of films that are coming of age movies, like through the perspective of the child who creates this kind of world that is outside of reality in order to deal with the shit that's going down. Like Heavenly Creatures is something I really love. I'm sure I've talked about others on here that kind of fall under that as well. It's about this young kid in the 50s who lives in rural Idaho, just surrounded by these gorgeous, gorgeous fields. Like this, so much of this movie is just wide shots of these sprawling fields and these little farmhouses. And he plays with his friends, but they're starting to go missing.
Not true. She's in heaven. She's an angel.
What's an angel?
A baby with wings. Every time you make your ma cry, you kill an angel. I make my ma cry all the time. Sometimes I just look at her and she cries.
The kids, specifically the little boys, are getting kidnapped from this town. And we kind of, as viewers, are clued into this mysterious car that keeps coming by with these, like, creepy pedophile-esque men. But these little kids, like, they don't have that, like, knowledge of, like, what a pedophile-esque man might look like.
Are you a Scarecrow's son?
No.
I was hoping you were. We'll be seeing you. Would you like that?
Yeah.
Be good now, set it up.
At one point, they tell him to go play with his friends, and he goes, all my friends are dead. He learns about vampires because his dad's reading these trash novels.
They're not very nice. They bite your neck and drink your blood, stuff like that. Not very sociable.
And he starts thinking that his neighbor, who is this cosmopolitan British woman, might be a vampire because she always wears dark sunglasses. She at one point told him she's 200 years old, and he's like taking things at face value. He thinks that she might have something to do with it. Meanwhile, the cops are investigating, and they think his dad had something to do with it because he had a relationship with a teenage boy not too long ago where, like, it got the whole town up in arms.
Had old Sheriff Ticker on the phone.
Sheriff Ticker?
You know Sheriff Ticker?
Well, yeah, yes, I know him.
He certainly seems to know your husband.
Tragedy strikes. I don't want to get too deep into, like, what exactly the beats are of this movie because a lot of stuff kind of sneaks up on you.
Sometimes terrible things happen quite naturally.
Eventually, his brother comes home from the military. His brother is played by a very young Viggo Mortensen, and he starts a relationship with the vampire neighbor. And this little boy has to kind of compartmentalize. His friend's dying. He thinks his neighbor's a vampire. His older brother is this, like, war hero who just came home, and he's dealing with this weird, like, family dynamic in between all of it and his own, like, fantasy world that he's created. It's super tragic, left me crying, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous movie. All of the performances are great, especially the young kids' performances. Gosh, trigger warning for the beginning where they blow up a fucking frog.
You've been exploding frogs again?
This one, if it's also been sitting on your watch list, I think someone on Blue Sky messaged and was like, this has also been on my watch list for so long. I'm like, just fucking watch it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
A cult classic, to be sure.
Yeah, you will not regret it. And also watch Passion of a Darkly Noon as well.
My second pick, I can't believe I hadn't seen this one before. This kind of doubles as a missing pieces. It's from a director that I haven't seen every movie of, but I like most of what I've seen. And it's one of the few Meryl Streep movies that I hadn't seen. So it's directed by a guy named Fred Skepsey, and it's called
Sexy Skepsey.
Plenty. It's based on a play by David Hares from 1985. This was a really, really interesting movie. So it starts in the middle of World War II, and Meryl Streep is a British woman, but she's fighting with the French resistance in France. At the beginning of the movie, she's waiting, along with some other French resistance people, for, like, a supply drop. You know, these parachutes are coming down with these big cylinders, and they've got, like, supplies and, like, radio stuff and weapons and ammo in them. And then they notice that there's another parachute coming down, and there's a dude in it. And it's Sam Neill, baby Sam Neill.
Love that.
This is 1985. And he is a British pilot named Lazar. And they sort of get him up and running, and Meryl Streep helps him elude these German soldiers that come by looking for him. While that's happening, she sort of has a little bit of a breakdown.
I'm so frightened.
Let's get going, quickly.
I'm not an agent. I'm only a courier. I just carry messages to certain circuits. I came tonight's my first drop. There's literally no one else.
She's like, I'm really scared, you know, I don't want to die. I thought that this would be the purpose of my life, but I'm really, really terrified. And he kind of consoles her, and they get away, and they go back to her apartment, I guess, and they have sex. And in the morning, he leaves. But not before the Nazis show up and shoot some guy on the street. And then he kind of like bicycles away, and they look at each other, and he's just sort of like, see ya. And that's it. But it's obviously a very powerful moment for her. Cut to a few years later, and her husband now drops dead in the middle of a hotel because her husband is like, you know, in the special services as well. He's like a diplomat. And she's sort of escorted to the embassy by Charles Dance, who is sort of apologetic about like, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, about your husband. And she's like, well, he wasn't really my husband.
How'd you realize that?
I thought it possible.
What about Darwin? Did he realize?
Lord, no. Would never occur to him.
No, we met during the war. Tony was a wireless operator for the SOE. I was a courier. Motoring together, it was easier to say we were man and wife.
Like, I was barely even his mistress, but, you know, we were both lonely people, and we sort of found companionship together, and it's really sad that he's dead, but he has a real wife, and, you know, maybe you should tell her that he's dead.
And lie?
The movie keeps jumping through time very quickly. Suddenly, she's in a relationship now with Charles Dance, who himself is a diplomat. Meanwhile, Meryl Streep keeps going through different jobs. Like, she gets a job working for, like, Queen Elizabeth's coronation committee in the early 50s. Her best friend is Tracy Ullman.
Sorry, Mr. Medlicott, I must be a little bit late. It's because, I've been finding the work a bit much.
Miss Park, you only joined us yesterday.
At a certain point, Meryl Streep asks one of Tracy Ullman's ex-boyfriends to help her father a child with the explicit understanding that he will not have to raise it or see the pregnancy through. She just wants to have a baby. It's Sting, by the way. The whole movie is about this woman who had this tremendous experience, you know, where she was a resistance fighter in the war and then comes home full of idealism and excitement, comes to a world that has no use for her skills, sees her as inferior because she's a woman, and just expects her to be kind of a wife.
You don't understand. You don't understand the figures in my mind.
On the other hand, she is also kind of a bitch. Like, she is relentless of pursuing these ideals that she doesn't even manage to live up to herself, and sort of has no real care for the tragedy that she leaves in her wake when she makes decisions or moves on from something or loses her temper or what have you. The movie makes this really interesting analog of Meryl Streep's character and the decline of British Empire. It is about how the British fought the war, ended in victory, were filled with idealism and strength and promise, and squandered it.
Yeah.
Squandered it for ideals that they didn't live up to and didn't care who they hurt in the process. And it's a very odd tragedy. It's a very interesting analog. I expected, sort of knowing a little bit about the play and about the writer and about, you know, this being a Meryl Streep movie in the 80s, I was expecting something a little bit more overtly feminist. That's not really what it's trying to do.
It's concerned
it
with.
has those elements. You are meant to understand that she is unhappy and in some cases very unfairly so. But it's an interesting choice to make her the analog to this idea about a collapsing society. It's a really, really interesting movie. Also very sparely shot. Lots of long, patient takes. Not a lot of camera movement. Lots of great actors. Ian McKellen's also in it.
Oh, nice.
I think, I mentioned Tracy Ullman. Just a really, really cool movie. I had never seen this before. I'm surprised I hadn't gotten around to it until recently. I really, really loved it. If you watch this and like it, also watch from the same director his adaptation of the John le Carré novel, The Russia House, with Sean Connery and Michelle Pfeiffer from the early 90s. That movie is also terrific and very, very interesting. But yeah, this was cool. Plenty. Make sure you check this out. This is a weird one.
Men are threatened by friendship between women. They fear our mystery.
Bark, bark, bark.
Bark, bark, bark. What is that? Is that a couple of ugly dogs? Can you believe it?
What's our dog movie this week?
It's called The Worst in Show.
Life can be hard when you're on your own and you're looking for love.
And it's a documentary that you found upstairs.
Yeah, in the cats and dogs section. This was not the movie I was expecting it to be.
I don't know what I was expecting, but this turned into an awkward character study of hyper-focused 2010 random people.
It's definitely a people watcher.
Yeah.
This is not about the dogs.
We see the dogs.
Yes.
And yes,
they seem like nice
ugly.
boys and girls.
They seem fine, but they don't know what's going on.
Yeah. It's mostly about
these weirdo
the people that are the dogs' owners that are really invested in the World's Ugliest Dog contest.
Which happens in Petaluma, California.
This is the longest running, the biggest, and the most famous, and the big one that everyone wants to win.
When this came out in 2010, it was like their 22nd anniversary.
You can
and I
tell
think they're
because
still
there's
going.
a lady that they interview who's like involved with the contest. She's like one of the people who puts it together, and she's got this big cardboard cutout behind her.
Yeah.
But it also has a little piece of paper taped over a part of it that just says like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
We've been doing the contest for 22 years. Just this last fall, we trademarked World's Ugliest Dog.
I don't know. It's like it's this community of people who are in the ugly dog community, and we are introduced to these characters.
There's Rascal.
Yeah, so we have Rascal, who his owner Dane is the weirdest
Scary dude.
one. His whole world is the ugly dog competitions.
You've been doing this since you were 11?
Yeah, been doing it all this time because it all started out with Chi-Chi, the dog you were talking about that peed on your leg.
And Rascal is a descendant of one of the first ugly dog winners, Chi-Chi.
So it started with Chi-Chi, the world's ugliest dog, then Lady Pink, who was Chi-Chi's wife and also Rascal's grandmother, and then her daughter Mai Tai won 3 times as well. And then here's Rascal, her son.
And he's like a Chinese crested. That's the ones that usually win.
Looks like he's got like a mohawk.
I think this is Rascal.
There's
He's
all
so
these
old.
segments where the owners are like, okay, so this is my ugly ass dog, and like here's where we met Regis, and here's where we met.
He met Airbud.
Alan Alda, and we met Airbud. There's the one guy who's like, I took my dog. You know, I don't really like Regis, but
Regis, you know, he doesn't do much for me, but you know, Kelly's Kelly, so. That'd be fun.
It's like, all right.
It's a little nasty, I'm not gonna lie.
He's like, I've had Rascal like since I was a small kid. So Rascal's old, and you could tell he's just like bringing him to places, and Rascal's kind of like
Rascal's like,
hanging
no
on.
more news, man.
No more news.
Take my ass home.
And then we meet Icky, who is 6 months old, and he's another Chinese crested. His owner's this like kind of punk. He has like
he's got a mohawk. He looks a little roided.
And he's the dog's like 6 months old. He is kind of cute. I like that dog. He was kind of cute. And then Paps, my favorite, who's like this huge kind of like pit bullish bully breed who has a big underbite, but other than that, gorgeous dog.
Yeah, pretty boy.
His owner gets in a fight with Rascal's owner because he overthrows Rascal's reign of winning the competition, and he's like the first non Chinese crested in a long time. And the guy, like Dane, gets hyper fixated on being like, well, here's what you got to do now that you're the winner of this contest, and like starts like
harassing him. He takes it real
him.
seriously. It's like his meal ticket.
I actually called him right after the last Ugly Dog contest, you know, to give him some pointers on what to expect.
I wanted to listen to him, but at the same time, you know, he told me not to take the modeling contract, and then tried getting the modeling contract himself.
And they don't get along anymore. They stopped like answering each other's phone calls.
I did give him a few phone calls during the year and touch base with him.
He's been emailing me. I won't answer his phone calls. I won't answer it. I got his number saved just so I won't answer it.
Then there's a whole scandal where there's vote rigging.
And then at the end they have a new competition where you could just buy votes, and people were like paying way too much.
Did he really? Yes. I told him like 40 bucks.
There's also Winston, who is
my favorite.
A Katrina rescue, who just has a big scar on his face. He's really not ugly
He's a
at all.
perfectly good-looking boy. He has a big scar here because he got hit by a board.
Yeah, they found him there, and his owners are also kind of off. Doesn't really win anything.
I'm not trying to shame these people, but it's one of those things where like
it
seems like it's their whole
people.
existence is this. It's like Best in Show,
but
more sinister.
Also, it kind of reminded me of some of the people we met when we watched the Guide Dog documentary as well.
Yeah, like this is their whole deal.
Yeah. At the end, they kind of juxtapose a lot of these people really love their dog,
Of course
obviously.
they do.
But then some people, they're just like toting around these old ass dogs to these one event after the other, you know, like let them rest. We learn about this dog who won the contest from 2002 to 2004 named Sam. Looks like an actual fucking zombie. Dude, Sam was that. Now that is an ugly dog.
Take that dog to the dentist.
Terrifying dog. We meet his owner, and he had passed away. So his owner's like showing us his ashes in a box.
You can still hear him growling sometimes.
And being like, sometimes he chases his tail, like moves the box like this.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
And he has a ranch named after him, Sam's Doggy Dude Ranch in Santa Barbara. So put that on your to visit list. And then he got interviewed. They showed a bunch of like the Japanese promo for Sam.
Oh yeah,
Fucking weird stuff.
It's kind of horrifying.
It's weird. They show Rascal's owner taking him to like, this museum in San Francisco and like showing him old Hollywood artifacts. Like, this is Rock Hudson's lamp.
Phyllis Diller's telephone from her home office. So she actually handled that. And there she is waving. Bob Hope's dictaphone.
Like showing his dog that and stuff.
And who's the starlet?
Oh, Jane Russell.
Jane meets Jane Russell.
He's a big fan of yours.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He has your pinups all over his box.
And she's like,
that's going way back too.
Okay.
I thought, yeah. It was funny too because he's carrying the dog down the street. He's like, we're gonna go meet a Hollywood starlet. I'm like, oh, who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be? Because earlier he's like, well, we met Ashley Judd, you know. And we met Alan Alda, and Al Alda stuck his tongue out. And it's like, okay. So I'm like, what's the Hollywood starlet? He goes, we're gonna meet Jane Russell. And I'm like, dude, how do you even know who that is?
No, you can tell he didn't because the way he said Jane Russell, she worked with Marilyn Monroe. And it's like, okay, you read one thing about Jane Russell real quick.
Maybe he saw The Aviator.
And then there's this one guy they flash to a few times who doesn't have a dog at all, but sits in this room next to a picture of a bunch of cute golden retrievers and then a picture of Sam, the terrifying zombie dog, and just a couple times is like, see, he has a scary face, whereas these golden retrievers, they look like normal puppies. And I'm like, who are you? Are you like some sort of expert? The people in this are not to be missed.
Very upsetting.
Then we meet, there's this whole controversy over, at times, people entering their sick pets into the contest and not treating them to keep them sick so that they look ugly enough.
Because there was the one dog had 3 legs and cancer.
Yeah, and he was like visibly not doing
he won
well.
too.
Is he ready to take on what this entails? Well, I think right now he's ready for a nap, but after a good sleep, he'll be ready to go again.
The dog died about 6 months after the contest.
Gus, yeah.
R.I.P. Gus, we miss you.
R.I.P. They did some new health regulations, but not until like 2008, you know? And then we meet the newest champion, who is Princess Abby. And she is not I don't think she's ugly at all, but she has a weird spinal bone issue where she's like very hunched and she's missing an eye. Mm-hmm. I'm not making her sound not ugly, but she's a cute little chihuahua type mix.
Mom found her on the side of the road.
Yeah, and she dresses her up in little bikinis. But then we're learning about Princess Abby's story, and then we get hit with the fact that this lady found Princess Abby right after her partner in her golden years, I believe is what she calls him, stepped in front of a train to kill himself because he had mouth cancer or something that he didn't tell anyone about. And it's such an alarming change of tone in this movie. It's completely...
By the way, this movie is 56 minutes or something like that. So there's a lot.
This movie is like...
There's a lot to unpack
if you're like,
here.
I want to watch a movie about like just a weirdo subculture that I didn't know existed, or like a capsule into this Petaluma in 2010 or whatever.
There you go.
It's very strange, but I had a good time watching it. There's also a montage of them going to Kmart. Love that. I had a good time watching it, even though it is not also what I expected.
I enjoyed it. It was short, and it was weird. I'm going to give it 3 paws.
I'm going to give it 3 paws as well.
What's next time?
Next time's a movie I came across about a hero.
Well, it's got to be A Wonderful World of Disney.
Yep. It's Barry.
Barry of the Great St. Bernard.
I think he saves people on a mountain or something.
Sounds great. I'm stoked. Does he have one of those barrels with the brandy in it?
Barry the barrel holder? Probably, hopefully.
Sign me up.
Yep.
I could use a couple of shots of that brandy.
Stay tuned for a Generations Collection Disney classic with a super good boy looking heroic St. Bernard.
Yeah.
Next time.
I just look at that and all I see is butt.
All right. All right, so that was episode 89.
Feeling fine.
It was great. We didn't have any mailbags. Please mail us. viva@scarecrow.com or 5030 Roosevelt Way Northeast, Seattle, Washington 98105. We'd love to field your questions about Scarecrow, or if you need any recommendations. We also have one Rapid Rex money stretcher.
Match. Money stretcher.
Money stretcher. Or if you want to just tell us what you've been watching lately, or show us pictures of your
pets.
Pets, physical media collections, favorite Scarecrow story. But yeah, just like give us a shout out.
Send us some just cold hard cash.
Or cold hard cash.
Presents.
Things of that sort. Comment below on this show.
Vote for Raunch versus Rom.
Vote for Raunch versus Rom.
Vote for Chances Are, please.
Say hey if you just showed up here and you haven't watched any episodes before. Introduce yourself. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, share on social media, follow us on Blue Sky, check out our letterbox, and come visit Scarecrow or donate scarecrowvideo.org.
Viva Physical Media.
Viva Physical Media, and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye. 89 in the bag.
Pretty good.
Now, what you can't see in this picture is that around his rump and under his tail was sort of a strange growth. We called it his fanny pack. It was some kind of herniated thing that they couldn't repair. So he had a big, lovely bulge out the back end, which of course I thought was delightful.